message right now here at the GSL Korea.
Top left. His name is one that is well talked about. His ID is
MVP Swagger.
Everybody's talking about the Swagger.
Very interesting game 2. Very Zalt heavy with a few modals. To the bottom right, we have his opponent. Leenock for Team FXO. He is, of course,
FXO Leenock.
Well versed in holding all sorts of strategies.
This is going to be a good game. I'm kind of excited to see this. Of course, Swagger already with a Probe Scout, trying to find out what Leenock is going to do here. If there's going to be an early pool, for example.
He will also be able to block the hatchery a little bit, be very annoying, and Leenock will start that pool pretty soon. He's trying to block the pool location. Now he's just running the probe around and doesn't get the block off on the pool, but sees it and will now go to block the hatchery.
And while we're waiting for the hatch to be started, there's a question that pops up every now and then these days, and I mentioned it a bit in the past, but we have a bit of time on our hands. So if you are wondering on the scoreboard what the P11 and the Z5 means, the red and the blue one, those are the information about the two players. Swagger is playing in red, he's Protoss, and he's starting at the 11 o'clock position, whereas Leenock is starting in blue, he's Zerg, therefore the Z, and his position is a 5 o'clock starting position on the map.
Yeah. Quite common for real-time strategy games to use that that lingo, I guess, or abbreviation for giving a lot of information about who is whom.
And now in the third game we have again an opening with Forge, this time not relying on the gateway opening. Swagger, that is.
Yep, and he's scouted very early by Leenock's Overlord. He really wants to zap that hatch.
I'm a little bit more curious. Leenock is really relying on this 2-base side with the delayed 3rd base. That's something I feel that he does because he's trying to give those openings, those aggressive openings of Protoss a bit more credit these days. Usually you would see the Zerg player heading out to take the expansion, the 3rd one that is, at 420, which we might still see, but with the early gas, I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, but this makes him a little bit predictable, and Swagger has definitely been studying his style. You can see it in his games, especially game number 2. Leenock very carefully trying to make sure that the probe does not see, doesn't have a 3rd.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised to see Leenock go for this style immediately. I would have suspected that with the scout that he had with the Forge first play, that he would start with the 3rd base at 420, and he got the gas instead.
Just playing very similar styles in all 3 games. Core will go down.
I mean, I'm wondering if he goes into speed right away, or if he just goes into the lair tech earlier. He's getting a lot of Zerglings for the early game.
Yeah, here's the 100 gas, and there's metabolic boost, so he could just be doing a very aggressive link timing. So far, he already has like 12 links in production. Looks like he's going to wait and hide them, and then go for a big attack.
You know, on maps like this, you can actually also go for a bit of a baneling aggression. That's something that we occasionally see, because it's such a huge ramp that you have to wall off, that banelings can be quite effective here. But most Zerg players that try to be this aggressive, as you said, are relying on the Zerglings with speed, and that's exactly what we see here. We've seen this already today.
Killer is skipping not only the Stalker, but also the Sentry, everything to get a really fast Stargate. And this is basically going to allow Leenock to do exactly what he wants. Still no Sentry started yet, and without a Sentry, this game is in Leenock's hands.
Also the Stargate Wolf. He gets the Stargate, and this is the worst tech choice that he can make in this scenario, because he's most likely going to start things off with a few Phoenixes, and they are not really the unit that you want to rely on when you're up against Zerglings. And furthermore, there's not even anything to block the gap in the wall, so Leenock could just run in. He doesn't even have to break down the wall.
Yeah, there's a Sentry about to pop out, but he's just going to go right in, and then Speed's going to finish once he's inside. This is game over.
GG.
Sorry, Swagger, but played a bit too greedy in game 3, and Leenock is punishing you for it.
Yeah, Leenock is in. There's one Sentry. That's all there is. He even forgets a couple of his Zerglings. We'll probably send them over very soon. Well, he should send them over.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's about
here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, well, this is game.
Game over. Swagger's got nothing but probes, and he's not going to have very many of those left in a few seconds.
Yeah, try to gamble. Leenock called his bluff, and now we have the third game going to Leenock. Leenock will advance to the 3rd round of Code A.
Yep. kind of an anticlimactic end to the series, but Leenock just wants to get out of here, man. He's like, no, I studied you. You like to go for fast Stargate here, and I'm going to punish you. And it was very calculated risk by him.
Yeah, and it's also built that even when there is a sentry, you can break down this wall. We've seen this earlier today already, so now we have one Void Ray, but there's the GG. Leenock wins the series, will advance to the third round of Kode, where he is going to meet either Maru or Beyond.
That was a cool series. That's the type of best of 3 I love to watch, where you see all sorts of different strategies, players getting into each other's heads.
Yeah. It was a really interesting one, and Leenock wanted to go home early, so a very aggressive strategy that we had here. The problem is really for Protoss that on a map like Velchevestage, the ramp, or not the ramp, but your entrance to the natural is so huge, so big, that it's very difficult to defend it. Well done, Leenock, denying the high five here.
Yeah, Choya just kind of giving him this awkward crane-looking pat on the back where he's doing some weird reaching, but...
Leenock advances to the third round, going to face a Terran player in the last round, where he's going to have to fight for his spot in Codes. Swagger with a good effort today. The first game really well played, and the second one he was close, but Leenock a little bit too strong. So now we have Swagger in, not in Codes, at least not this season, but at least he has, the minimum is a Code A spot for next season.
But before we go into our next series, which is going to be the first Protoss versus Terran of the day, it's going to be Fantasy up against Avenge. We are going to have a 5-minute break, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Tell everyone to tune in. Go to GOMTV.net. Spread the word. See you guys in a few.